Good afternoon, and thanks for having us in. There's a new lawsuit against a South Dakota hotel accused of racial discrimination. This comes just after a previous racial discrimination suit against the Grand Gateway Hotel and its owners has been settled. A family from Wisconsin claims they attempted to stay at the Grand Gateway in August of this year. Court documents say when Jennifer White, who is, quote, not a member of a racially protected class, entered the lobby alone and the clerk began the check-in process for the 3 rooms she'd reserved. But when her husband, Ryan, came into the hotel, the clerk stopped the check-in and told them there were no rooms available. Ryan White is Native American. They allege that when they questioned the decision, the clerk called security. Court papers say the Whites felt threatened and went to a different hotel. The Grand Gateway Hotel created controversy back in March of 2022 when the owner posted on Facebook the hotel would, quote, no longer allow any Native American on property. In the lawsuit, the White family is asking for damages. New this midday, Rapid City police have made an arrest in connection with a woman's suspicious death last week. Last Thursday, police were called to the hospital for a report of a woman with several injuries. She was unconscious and had bruising to her head and face. She later died as a result of her injuries. An autopsy revealed that she had a serious head injury. Since then, police have arrested 44-year-old Pedro Cimental, who lived at the address where the ambulance picked up the woman. He's charged with first-degree manslaughter. Pivoting to weather, it's another almost warm one out there, right, Adam?
I'll flat out say it. It's warm. We're already in the 60s in many locations. Keep in mind, average is in the mid-40s. So when we're 20 degrees above average and we haven't hit the peak of our daytime heating, yeah, it is going to be a well above average day out there. 62 at Great Bear as we take a look in Sioux Falls, but it's pretty windy. South wind at 21 miles per hour, and we have had higher gusts. Meanwhile, out in Yankton, 63 with a little more cloud cover above, and again, a brisk southerly wind at 19 miles per hour. That wind is going to be the big story today, especially the farther south and east you go. 65 right now in Valentine, 62 also in Worthington, 58 Aberdeen, 57 Pierre, Rapid City, and Custer. Faith and Spearfish at 54 apiece, 53 in Buffalo. But take a look at that wind. Unless you're up in the northwestern corner of South Dakota or over in Ortonville for that matter, it's pretty blustery with a sustained wind at 15 to 30 miles per hour in many locations, even over that mark in Worthington and Marshall, a southerly wind at 32 and 34 miles per hour respectively, with gusts in those locations of southwestern Minnesota around 40 miles per hour over the last about 60 or so minutes. So keep this in mind. Be mindful with any outdoor heat sources, especially because of how dry it's been, the dry air, the windy weather, and the dry vegetation. It's not going to take much, so you will want to exercise caution. Satellite and radar, though, really not showing a whole lot of anything going on. Yes, we have the cloud cover, but there's nowhere near enough moisture to support much of anything else. So the rest of your day today is going to be warm and windy, especially to the southeast. Highs on either side of 70 in many locations. That is at least in the ballpark of some record territory in a few areas. We'll crunch the numbers and take a look at just what the record is today. Meanwhile, up to the northeast, we'll be in the mid to upper 60s, still at bare minimum breezy. And out west, we'll see 60s with a couple of upper 50s trying to sneak in there toward Faith, Bison, and Buffalo. But you also will have a windy day on your hands. We do have chillier temperatures to talk about, though. We'll talk about when they come around in your extended forecast.
All right. Thank you, Adam. International developments up in the North Atlantic. Southern Iceland is getting rattled by hundreds of earthquakes, prompting fears of a major volcanic eruption. Nearly 4,000 people were evacuated over the weekend after the ground shook, roads cracked, and buildings were damaged. Officials said there's a, quote, significant likelihood of an eruption in the coming days. A new assessment from climate scientists and several federal agencies finds the effects of human-caused climate change in the U.S. are, quote, far-reaching and worsening. According to the report, we're experiencing warming temperatures and longer-lasting heat waves, and flooding, hurricanes, drought, and wildfires are becoming more frequent or severe. The report warns that by 2050, coastal flooding will happen 5 to 10 times more often than it does now. if no action is taken. The U.S. is now experiencing a $1 billion weather disaster, an average of every 3 weeks, compared to one every 4 months in the 1980s. These are costing the country about $150 billion a year.
This assessment shows us in clear scientific terms that climate change is impacting all regions, all sectors of the United States, not just some, all. Above all, it shows us that climate action offers an opportunity for the nation to come together and do some really big things.
Biden announced $6 billion in new investments to fight climate change. One bright spot in the report, greenhouse gas emissions in the U.S. have actually dropped 12% since 2005, largely driven by the transition away from coal to cleaner energy sources like solar and wind power. Those sources are also cheaper than ever before. The standoff at Gaza's largest hospital continues. Israel says it is a legitimate military target because Hamas uses it as a command center, while Palestinians say innocent civilians are dying at a place that should be protected in war. Trina Kraus reports from London.
With Israeli troops surrounding Al-Shifa Hospital in the heart of Gaza City, Palestinian authorities are proposing a supervised evacuation of the complex that still has about 600 patients and many civilians taking shelter.
Lives in Gaza are hanging by a thread due to depleting of fuel and medical supplies.
Gaza's biggest hospital has become a major focal point because Israel says Hamas has a command center under it and is using doctors and patients as human shields. Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry says 40 patients, including 3 babies, have died since emergency generators ran out of fuel Saturday. Israel's military says it's trying to deliver incubators to potentially move babies to safer locations.
Our war is against Hamas, not against the people in Gaza, especially not the sick.
Israel has not provided proof Hamas is running operations inside Al-Shifa.
These are explosives.
But it did release video claiming to show weapons and tunnels used by Hamas under a children's hospital. There are signs hostages, young and old, may have been held there.
Clothes and a rope. Look above it. It's a baby bottle in a basement.
Above ground, fierce fighting rages. New Hamas body cam footage shows a fighter firing a bazooka, while Israeli troops push deeper into Gaza, looking for militants and about 240 hostages captured October 7th. Hamas now says it's ready to release up to 70 women and children in exchange for a 5-day ceasefire. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
The Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry says more than 11,000 Palestinians have died since Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th, killing about 1,200 Israelis.